everyone, Tanner Cherney up here in Devils Lake, North Dakota, checking in for the week of January 17th. Just wanted to get everyone on page with how our ice is sitting, how our access is going, and how the bite is. You know, everyone watching this knows there's an impeding snowstorm coming in this weekend, which could change a lot of things relatively quickly. But as of right now, we are sitting with probably 2 to 4 inches of snow on the lake. Drifts in some areas a little bit heavier, but you can avoid those and see around them and kind of maneuver away from those kind of drifts. Ice conditions are sitting with 16 to 20 inches on the lake, which is really good for the 17th of January. People are starting to get out in their half-ton pickups. They're pulling ice castles, hard houses out, which leads me into a little bit of a discussion on access for those that are looking to pull hard houses out, or wheel houses, whichever you prefer to call them. Devils Lake has a couple different options. First one is Woodland Resort. They've got plowed roads out there that you can get your houses onto, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck or conditions like that. They have like a wheelhouse package this year that they're doing where you can pay a price, get onto their roads, and also use their shower house throughout your stay with your wheelhouse. So it's a great option for those looking to bring up their hard houses. The other thing is East Bay Campground and Resort out on the east end of Devils Lake now has plowed roads out of their lake, out of their resort now. So you can pay and get on their road. So guys looking to fish the east end of the lake, there's another access point for you. Again, with this snowstorm coming, we have, 5 or 6 access points that our Lake Access Committee in Devils Lake clears out. So just because we get some snow this weekend doesn't mean that those accesses will be blocked come next week. As soon as the snow is gone, we will have our snow removal guy get out there and get you cleared out, so at least you have a fighting chance to get on the ice and kind of on your own after that. As far as the perch bite goes, things have been good. We're finding smaller schools of perch. They're there. It's just a matter of being consistent, covering some water, and staying on top of that small school. A lot of it's been spot on a spot, so you're a little bit outside the school. You're not finding those fish, but once you find them, you're good to go. So again, tungsten jigs, little buckshots, those kind of things are great for perch. What I want to talk to you about is walleye fishing. I've been doing that a lot the last couple of weeks. Last week you saw I was fortunate enough to pull in a 26-inch walleye with my dad. That was something I was not expecting. I was very fortunate to do. So I'm just going to show you kind of a little tactics for walleyes in Devils Lake right now. That was 15 feet of water. I was just using a medium jigging rod here. Actually, I think it's a medium light. Just a simple little Berkley one. And this is the Northland buckshot right here. Gold, as my camera will focus on it. Gold and red was the color that I used, which is great. It's one of my favorite colors and is always a go-to in Devils Lake. A couple other colors right here would be just the plain old red, dark red and pink and purple. And then I also like to have, for bright sunny days, well, they get all tangled here, also the orange and white and yellow. These are all great colors to have when it comes to fishing on Devils Lake. I don't know if my camera focused too well on those, but you kind of get the gist of it. This is my walleye tackle box right here, so take note. Rattling blade spoons. Lots of different colors, a lot of different options. When you're fishing in the winter, there's always fronts coming through, so make sure you have variety of colors and sizes of each color, because if you're watching your electronics and you see a fish come up 3 or 4 times but not commit, could mean that they don't like the color, could mean a very subtle bite. So I read those fish off of that and I'll downsize, and if sometimes downsizing doesn't work, I'll change colors or vice versa and just kind of play through those fish to see really what they're preferring. And one final thing when it comes to walleye fishing on Devils Lake, don't be afraid to use tip-ups. And as you can see, I just caught myself with this tip-up. But I just learned about tip-ups this last year. I was a little skeptical about them, but after having some exposure and some trial, I've learned that they're a great arsenal thing to have in your tackle box when it comes to walleye fishing. Right here is just a simple tip-up. I mean, in North Dakota, you can have 4 rods. I know I'm not talented enough, and I'm sure there are some people, but I can't physically fish 4 rods at once. So why not maximize your ability to have a jigging rod, a dead stick, and 2 tip-ups, or a jigging rod and 3 tip-ups out there. Simple little setup. You're just talking a simple little gold jig. We just tip that with a full minnow. And what I love to do is when I'm fishing in a hard house like this ice castle or in a portable, I have my jigging hole and a dead stick, and then I have 2 tip-ups outside. You know what's happening is when you're calling those fish in with a rattling spoon, they're coming in and you have your tip up out there with a full minnow. So if they're not coming in and finishing with that buckshot or that clam blade spoon or whatever you have on there with a minnow head, and you look outside and here's a flag up, so you run out there and you get to fight a fish hand by hand. A lot of people deploy these for northerns, but I think for walleye fishing it is a must-have. It is essentially a dead stick without the rod and reel. So bring tip ups, maximize those 4 lines you can have in North Dakota in the winter. When it comes to walleye fishing, I know I sound like a broken record, but focus on old shorelines. I've been looking at that 15, 18, upwards of 20 foot drop off. The other thing I've been looking at is old roads. rock piles, and inside turns are an important thing. Any body of water you go to, if you find inside turns, you usually will find some walleyes there. And those coming up to Devil's Lake, word of the wise, just because you're on a spot right away and you're not marking fish when it comes to walleye fishing, and it's before sunrise or it's 2 hours before sunset, they are very, very tight windows when it comes to walleye fishing in Devil's Lake. So don't be afraid to stick out a spot when you know there's fish there, even though you're not marking them, because there could be a half-hour window at sunrise, or there could be a 2-hour window. Last week it was a 2-hour window. This week it could be half hour, just depends on the fronts coming through. So when you're coming up to Devil's Lake, be sure to employ a lot of different colors, a lot of different sizes on your lures. Use the hashtag Devil's Lake ND. We love to see what you guys are catching out there, sharing your fun experiences on the ice, whether it's with your buddies, your kids, your significant other. Keep pushing that content our way. We'll share it on our social channels, and we'll keep you updated throughout the season as the bite progresses. And stay tuned next week. We'll see what this weather happens this weekend, and hopefully fingers crossed we don't get a lot of snow and we keep growing this ice, so we have a long ice season ahead of us. Stay tuned.